Although the unemployment rate was unchanged in February, it did so within an environment of an expanding labor force and solid overall job growth. Hello, this is Bruce Steinberg of www.steinbergemploymentresearch.com reporting on February 2016 U.S. employment trends. The Current Population Survey, or CPS, but commonly known as the Household Survey, reported February's unemployment rate was unchanged at 4.9%, the lowest it has been in 8 years. The unemployment rate held steady despite an increase of 555,000 in the size of the labor force, which is a relatively large number. This is because there are also 530,000 more employed persons, and the 24,000 more unemployed persons were not enough to move the needle. In addition, there were 374,000 fewer people considered as not in the labor force, indicating many of those on the sidelines moved back into the employment economy. In other words, the economy was able to absorb a relatively large number of both new and returning entrants into the job market without materially affecting the rate of unemployment. The results from the Survey of Businesses, officially the Current Employment Statistics Program, or CES, but more commonly referred to as the Job Survey or Report, showed that the total number of non-farm jobs increased by 242,000 in February as compared to growth of only 172,000 in January, and not too far off the 265,000 growth in February 2015. The private goods-producing sector declined by 15,000 in February, which was a big change from the 29,000 the sector added in January. Manufacturing jobs, which increased by 2,000 and 33,000 in December 2015 and January, respectively, were down 16,000 in February. Durable goods was down 12,000. By the way, motor vehicle and parts were up 2,000, and non-durable goods decreased by 4,000. The construction sector, which had increased 48,000 in December 2015 and only grew 15,000 in January, added 19,000 jobs in February. And mining and logging continued to dig itself deeper in the hole with a loss of 18,000 jobs in February, which was double the 9,000 it lost in January. Growth in the private service providing sector took off, with 245,000 more jobs in February, which was a big improvement from the 153,000 it managed to grow by in January, as well as the 215,000 growth of December 2015. It even exceeded its growth from a year ago. Some normalcy of the data seemed to have returned to the retail trade sector that increased almost 55,000 jobs in February, which was a little off from growth of 62,000 in January. The professional and business services sector growth improved with an increase of 23,000 in February after adding only 15,000 in January. However, this was lower than the growth of 63,000 in December 2015, as well as a year ago when it grew by almost 40,000. Growth for computer systems design and related services was fairly stable, with an increase of 4,400 in February, which was only off slightly from the 4,600 it grew by in January. The education and health services sector managed to add 86,000 jobs in February, with an assist by the sector's highly seasonal educational services subsector growth of more than 28,000 jobs. The healthcare and social assistance subsector was up more than 57,000 jobs in February after growing by almost 44,000 in January. Home health care services contributed its share with 7,100 more jobs in February than January, which had been up 7,900. The party continued at a steady pace in the leisure and hospitality sector that added 48,000 jobs in February after adding 45,000 in January. However, a year ago, in February 2015, this sector expanded by 65,000. The total number of government jobs was up by 12,000 in February after declining by 10,000 in January. In February, the federal government was up 5,000, state government was down 5,000, so it was up to local government that added 12,000. Unfortunately, the not very good news of January for temporary help services continued in February. In February, temporary help services was down 9,800 jobs to 2,912,600, which was a 0.3% decline from January and up 3.0% year over year. And in January, temporary help services lost almost 22,000 jobs, or down 0.7% sequentially from December 2015. However, it should be pointed out that a year earlier, temporary help services was sequentially down 11,400 and down 10,400 jobs in January 2015 and February 2015, respectively. And temporary help services market share, that is, its portion of all jobs, retreated to 2.03% in February, more precisely 2.0288%, from January's 2.04%, or more precisely 2.0391%. The big news about February's employment situation is that although the labor force expanded by a relatively large number of people, many of them migrating from not being in the labor force in January, most of them found jobs. Furthermore, the employment to population ratio as well as the labor force participation rate each jumped 0.2 percentage points, which is a significant movement for these metrics. Overall job growth was solid at more than 200,000. About the only fly in the ointment is the second consecutive month of weakness in temporary help services, but that could be because employers are making more commitments to expand their own payrolls. This has been Bruce Steinberg, and this is just a brief sample of the employment data and analysis we provide.